55, but maybe higher, but at least 55.
Let me say real quick, we have 2 more slides, and we have a zoning overlay slide, and Mr. Campbell and Mr. Wild are going to address that in a minute. So if you allow him to just get through these next 2 slides, and then we'll come right back to that.
All right, so next slide. All right, another project that we're looking at is the Dollar General. I don't believe Mr. Trotter's here, so I'll go and handle this. The Dollar General Corporation has indicated a willingness to build a new facility right next to Heritage Pine. It will be at the intersection of Lady Walker and Pine Street on one side, Lady Walker and 11th on the other. So where the old bank used to be. Right now they're in the process of going through the due diligence, and if that is completed, if everything is approved, their intent is to build a structure starting at the end of this year. It will be a 90-day construction. So in the first part of next year, that's when they would open up the facility. And what they've indicated is that once again, they will be bringing services to the neighborhood. They would also be bringing jobs to the local residents. And they've made a commitment in that the architecture and the look of the building would match the look and feel of the Heritage Pine neighborhood. So that would be in terms of materials, colors, and so forth. And now we get to upcoming events. Here's more information on the zoning overlay. Again, the whole intent behind this was to think of a way to protect the investment that Augusta-Richmond County was putting into the neighborhood, to protect the direction, the positive growth that we were seeing, and to protect the fabric of the neighborhood. And so what the proposal is to, 1, talk about in general today, so everyone can get a sense of what's going on. 2, talk about it in more detail with a dedicated meeting on Wednesday at Beulah Grove as to what the overlay involves. And then go to the Planning Commission on the 7th of November for the first step. But essentially, the overlay has the ability to be enacted throughout the entire Lady Walker Bethlehem neighborhood. Right now, we're looking at just the Foundry Place, or the W4 area, which is bounded roughly by R.A. Dent to the west, Poplar to the south, Augusta to the east, and also Holly Street to the east. And within this area, the thought is that it would be a mixed-use development, which would allow for multifamily, single-family, some commercial development. We'd be looking at pedestrian accessibility, which would include a heritage trail that's being planned for the entire neighborhood. And also basically embracing the existing uses in the neighborhood. And those more specifically are spelled out to the left. It's not as clear, but we can get a full copy of this document to anyone that needs it. But again, that would be single-family, multifamily, mixed-use, live work units, residential, retail, commercial, and community centers. So all of these are the types of uses which are being encouraged. And again, we have more information, handouts, etc., at next Wednesday's meeting.
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
All these things y'all getting, and how is any of them for people that disabled?
Disabled? Well,
or just give one check?
Let's see. Can you answer that?
The way I would answer that is everything that we do is on a case-by-case basis, and we're not just actually just building one type of action, one type of house. But from a disabled standpoint, a lot of things are actually based on income. So what I would suggest is that a couple of things. 1, don't know the type of housing that you're looking for. That's part of what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to be sure that we diversify our portfolio. And by that, what I mean is we're trying to be sure that we have something that meets everybody's needs. So we have duplexes. If you talk about new construction or you want home ownership, we don't have to do a 3 or 4 bedroom. If you're just an empty nester and all you want is just a nice home, but you only want to be 1,000 square feet. It's on a case-by-case basis. What I would suggest is that you get my name and number, and I can just talk with you in more detail. But, really, most of the housing that we do, some of it depends on if it's federally funded, then it's actually going to depend on your income. If it's not federally funded, then, it just depends on what character, based on your personality, fits what we have. And if we don't have it, then there's nothing to say that we're not willing to actually try to develop or divide that which you want for anybody. So we're not opposed to doing that as well.
Okay, well then, in that case, going back to the model that you showed where you had the white structures, you had the blue, the yellow, white. those houses, the new houses, the new structures that you're building, estimate how many times what's the value as compared to the houses that were existing. What we're hearing is like 2.5 times what is already in place, which means that the homeowner is going to have a hard time trying to bring his existing structure up to the price of what you're building.
He'll give you the actual numbers.
All right, let me make one correction first of all. Regarding the overlay district, the meeting is going to be Tuesday night at Beulah Grove. This coming Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Now, specifically to your question, I would say two things. First of all, the whole purpose of these meetings, these quarterly meetings, once every 3 months, is so we can get the feedback from the neighborhood. We really value that. That helps us in the direction, because with a project this big, you need that input to make sure you know which way you're going. And so it's valuable to know about the interests in disabled individuals and the price points. We've heard about the price points a lot. And so right now, if you take Pine Street, those houses are valued anywhere from $130,000 up to $200,000 for the largest unit. That's what we've got now. But we have been working on coming up with different models. So right now we're looking at some 2-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe 2-bedroom, 1.5.
So it's correct. It is like 2.5 times what the existing structure is worth.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Wiles. Just want to take a minute to answer this gentleman's question here. There's no question about the fact that the houses that are being developed throughout this project area have a value that's twice as much as houses that are currently in the area now. That's a fact. And Hawthorne or Sean Edwards or one of us can talk to you about in more detail after the meeting, is that one of the pieces that we put in place to help the houses be affordable is a significant amount of money that's been set aside for down payment and closing cost assistance, up to $40,000. So that means that if there's an individual that maybe can afford a house that for $100,000 or even $90,000, but the house sells for maybe $110,000 or $120,000, that there's a way that we can help that homeowner get into that property. So it's not just it's a little bit misleading if you say, well, we're building houses that are twice as the value of the houses that are in the area now. That is true. But we're also building in ways to make that house affordable for someone who's low to moderate income to become a first-time homebuyer. And that's a fact. So just like Mr. Welcher said, or Mr. Campbell said, that we have new homeowners that are well below, that are very first-time homebuyers, either single or married couple on Pine Street, that have been able to afford those brand new houses at a very affordable interest rate and mortgage rate, and they're in there. What I don't want you don't get confused because it's a bigger house, because it's a newer house, because it has more value, that it's not affordable. It is affordable, and we can help you. If you want to come over and talk to us about that, talk to Jimmy Stevens or Elmira Shivers about how you can become a homeowner in Paradise Pine. We got some financing that should be able to work for you.
So as for existing homeowners, what is being set aside for them? If I already own my land, I don't really want to sell my house, I'm interested and eager to upgrade and have what everybody else is putting in place.
Exactly.
What is it for me?
Great question. There are several different programs that are part of the Laney Walker Bethlehem redevelopment area. One of the programs is a zero interest loan that does where you don't have to, you make no mortgage payments on it, that can go to an existing homeowner who wants to fix up their property. The other is a loan that's probably going to be anywhere from 2 or 3% maybe to whatever the market rate is now, for an investor owner who owns a small 2-family, 4-family apartment unit. As long as they continue to rent to low to moderate income families, then we can work with them to reinvest in their property. So it's not just, and that's something that I think we just kind of overlook sometimes. It's not just for a new homeowner. This is an initiative, this is a project that not only addresses people who want to move into the community in a new home, but people who live in the community right now.
I have a question. My question is, will the citizens of this area have the opportunity, or I don't know what's in place at this point, but have an opportunity to let their feelings be known, or do you seek advice from them, what they would like to have next door to them, or
Absolutely.
businesses and those kinds of things, what they would prefer to be next to their house? You know, in some communities, you don't want a store next door to your house.
So you're asking, does the existing
Are
residents have an opportunity?
I'm asking you, do the citizens have an opportunity of this area to talk with you, and do you take feedback from them, other than just tonight? Because I don't really feel you're not really getting much feedback tonight, because you want to make a presentation. So you're telling us to go over to the next meeting, and we will get some type of feedback. But we need to be able to
Let me try and answer your question. We started this project in 2008, 2007 actually, and throughout the entire 2008, we had public meetings much like we're having now, most of which were at Beulah Grove Baptist Church, attended by anywhere from 50 to 150 people every single month throughout 2008. We carried that into 2009, and then we start meeting every quarter. A lot of what you see in terms of the design, some of the goals, some of the objectives, some of the architectural styles, some of the programs, like the program for home ownership, the program for small investors, came as a result of that input. This just isn't something that we sat down and made up one night and said, this is going to be the Laney Walker Bethlehem program. We had a lot of public input, and we continue to have public input. A lot of the questions and comments that you provide us, and each time we meet quarterly, we take that information back, and it becomes incorporated into our strategy for implementing this project. So, you know, I know there's a lot of people who are maybe here for the first time, and I know there's a lot of people who've been here since 2008, and that public input was taken into consideration. I'm going to take two more questions, and then we're